Heartbreaking for Indian fans as Grandmaster Sasikiran lost his game against Esipenko entry in the 10th round of the FIDE Grand Swiss. Here, Esipenkov played bishop b5 check, which is the Moscow variation, and then he played bishop e2. After queen c7, he found a way to dislodge the black's king with bishop f6 and bishop b5 check. Even after black lost the castling rights, I think black was fine after a few moves. After h3, king g8, we can consider this as artificial castling. Even white did the same. After h3, I think black would also play h4 followed by rook g6 and bishop c4, idea b5. Something similar happened in the game, but this move h4 was not seen, and I think that would have helped black in the game. In the game, white played king c1 and played this position, and the game went into an end game. And I feel that white was a favorite to win because of this knight against the bishop. In this position, after knight e1, black has one more chance to play for more with a3, and after b8 play bishop b6, bishop d4, rook a4. There are many ideas like this that were possible, but Grandmaster Sasikiran played bishop a5 and went for this endgame. And the plus point for white here was that the white king has the white has pawns on the queen side and the white king is on the queen side, so it became easy for white to roll the majority and also attack the pawns on the king side, and which is what Esipenko did. And after a few moves, he got into such a commanding position that he was not only a pawn up but also had all his pieces at the right squares, and so Esipenko won this game. Next, we have the game between Gukesh and Kirill Georgiev. Since we have not covered Gukesh for a while, I thought he has won a game and it's a good chance for us to show that game. Let's see this position after knight g3 g6. It's a typical position. Black has possibilities to go into a structure called as the hanging pawns. So after bishop b4 c5, you can see these two pawns are not being protected by anybody. They are on their own, and it's a good idea to study structures pertaining to hanging pawns to know where to place your pieces and what kind of themes are there in positions like these. Gukesh launched a kingside attack and it was spectacular to watch, especially the way he rerouted the knight to f3, and the journey begins here. He got his rook and got his knight to c5, then to b3, and then now that the hole on d3 is available, he comes back and occupies it, and then later he goes to f3. I think this is remarkable. Of course, white has to capture, and then there is ef3 followed by fg2. That pawn on g2 is a monster. And after rook e1, all black needs is one shot on h2, but right now the check is not possible as the queen is keeping an eye on it. So he first played bishop f3, then attacked the queen, and then got rook to c5 because now the rook is ready to come to h5. In a few moves, he won the game with the help of the shot on h2. And the queen is lost, and so is the game. It's a very nice game by Gukesh. Next, we have the game between Ganguly and Alexei Driv. Yesterday, Grandmaster Ganguly won his game. The day before, Ronak won against Alexei Driv. Here we have the e3 system and b6. This is a system that Ganguly has played before as well. And they also got this position where black had a chance to go for the hanging pawns. But in this game, after knight e5, d5, d5, he was a pawn up and then later converted that extra pawn well. Even though after a few moves the position was equal, black had an active king and this pawn on d5 is a passer. These two factors helped black to win this game. He got the a5 break here, and then he transposed the position into a winning bishop endgame because there's also this weakness on a2 that white has to take care, plus the pawn on d4, and also these pawns are on the light squares which do not help white. And so Ganguly won this game. He was able to go after the pawn with king b3, and then this pawn on a5 is going to promote. Great game by Ganguly. Next, in the women's section, Harika Driv. In the men's section, Nihal Driv, Harikrishna Driv. So there were a lot of draws. In the women's section, Vantika Agarwal continued her form. She won against Buksa Natalia, and it was a very complex game. I would like to highlight one moment where Vantika took advantage of the exposed position of the White's king. She came up with this exchange sacrifice with Rook and G2. There were many winning continuations, but the continuation that she chose was very good. She played Rook takes G2 here, and after Rook G2, Queen D5, Rook G1, Knight E5, White is in some sort of a zugzwang. And it's very clear after A3, Queen E4. Again, White has no moves whatsoever, and White in fact gave up the queen here. But even if White plays King H2, there is a knight check, and then there is queen check, which is winning for black. So after E3, Queen E4, Queen H4, she picked up the queen and then won the game. Next we have the game between Divya Deshmukh and February Jessie. So February Jessie has lost all her games so far, but this was again another round where her opponent Divya Deshmukh launched a kingside attack and won the game. Let me go to that position after CD5. This exchange sacrifice was deliberately given. It was not a blunder, I think, because White has a great initiative after giving up that exchange. The Black's king is heavily exposed, and the knights are just looking for that opportunity to come to one of these 6th rank squares. After bishop e7, finally the knight jumped to e6 and then knight g7, and then the king hunt began. Black cannot really take the knight because of the fork. So with the help of such tactical nuances, Divya Deshmukh was able to launch a mating attack and she won the game. It's remarkable also that February Jessie is in great spirits even after the loss. She is looking forward towards learning from these games. I think that's a very good spirit, and kudos to Divya for scoring another victory in the event. With that, now let's take a look at the pairings and the standings. Here you go. If you look at the standings, Ali Reza Firouzja just needs a draw to clinch the event and also get that top spot for the candidates. And if you look at the Indian players, Sasikiran and Nihal are both on 6 out of 10. There is no hope right now because the top few places are almost already occupied, but they have another round to play, and I think it's going to be an exciting final round. In the women's section, Harika is on 6.5, and I think she still has a chance if she wins the last round to finish in the top. Vantika is on 6 out of 10. And if you look at the pairings, the reason I say that they are exciting is because Harikrishna is playing against Yuri Kuzubov and Nihal Sarin is playing against Daniel Dubov. Sasikiran will be playing against Korobov and Don. So those are the pairings on the top boards. In the women's section, Vantika will be playing against Pogonina and Harika is playing against Maria Muzichuk. So that's going to be another exciting clash. Don't forget to watch the broadcast on chess.com/TV. I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care. Bye bye.